Morning. Are you able to hear?
Yes, sir.
So now we'll discuss about the cellular telephony architecture. Okay, and followed by how the call is being established uh, between the PSTN network and the cellular network. So as you can see here, we have a cellular architecture, and here we have a PSTN network. So both these systems are interconnected by using a MSO. Okay, that is mobile MSC, mobile switching center, which is responsible for connecting the channels between the PSTN and the cellular system. Why the name cellular system? Because the entire communication system or the entire geographical region we have divided into different cells, where each cell you can see it is of hexagonal in shape. Not necessary that always the each cell should be in hexagonal shape. It can be circular, it can be triangular, rectangular, whatever it may be. But the most efficient approach of dividing the geographical region into cells will be hexagonal in nature. Why? Because we can space the cells without any intermediate guard cells, right? So all the intermediate spacings have been efficiently utilized by separating the entire regions into different cells. So you can see from this figure, a cell is having a high power, high transmission antenna in the center, which is installed over a tower, followed by a number of subscribers around it. So each and every geographical cell, when you see at the center, you are having a high power antenna which is being installed over a tower, around which some mobile subscribers are moving. Means they are making use of this particular base station for the communication to establish. And all these base stations in all these cells, they are having a radio link established with a mobile switching center. At the same time, this mobile switching center is having a communication with the PSTN network also, so that the landline subscribers in the PSTN network will be able to establish a conversation between the mobile subscribers that is making use of this cellular system. Understood? What is PSTN? Public switch telephone network. So this PSTN network, the subscribers making use of the PSTN network can initiate a call or can establish a call with the mobile subscribers that is making use of the cellular system. Okay, so consider this as a user. Okay, I will annotate and show. See, consider this as a mobile user which is moving around this hexagonal cell. Maybe this is the home network for this particular user. Okay, so he is having a conversation with respect to some other mobile users in different cells. So he is having a radio link between this particular base station. But the thing is that this mobile user is having a dynamic behavior, means it is moving. Okay, it is moving around the cell. Also, it is moving over the edge of the cell, and later at a particular point of time, it is crossing over this boundary and it is moving towards the adjacent cells. So in that particular point of time, what will happen is the signal energy level or the power level receiving from this base station to this mobile user will be decreasing as and when it is moving away from this particular base station. But the communication or the conversation should not abort or it should not terminate as such. It has to continue. For that, this MSO, this MSC, with the help of the mobility database, it will track the location of the mobile users, and later it will come to know that the base station, the adjacent base station, now it will take over the service. So as and when this mobile user is moving towards this base station, the signal that is being received from the second base station will be more stronger than this particular base station. So that this signal will be ultimately it will be die off or it will be discarded, and later on what will happen? The signal that is from this base station will get stronger, so that the communication will be or the service will be rendered or it will be assumed by this particular base station without disturbing the conversation. Okay, so that process is called handoff. So here you can see all these n number of base stations for all the cells. It is managed by the single MCU or MSC. Okay, but in fact, there can be one situation where the base station, or that is this particular mobile user, he can roam to a different geographical area which is not managed by this MSC. Okay, as far as this particular figure is concerned, you have how many number of base stations here? 3 plus 4 plus 3, that is 10 number of base stations, which is managed by the single MSC along with the PSTN network. Okay, suppose this is a mobile user which is moving around this coverage area or across this coverage area or beyond this coverage area to a particular cellular system where that base station is not coming in this particular MSC. So in that case also the service is continuing. The service is not terminated. The service is continuing, but it is being managed by different base station that is coming under different MSC. So there should be a control channel through which the signals has to be established, or the control has to be established between two MSC, so that the conversation will continue, or the voice channel can be established between the two mobile subscribers without any disruption in between. So this is the architecture of cellular telephony. It will be more clear once I speak about the frequency reuse concept and the cellular concept. Now this is enough for you. Okay. Now, what is the speciality of this hexagonal cells is that each and every cell will have a definite number of subscribers that is making use of a set of channels. But those set of channels are not shared by these neighboring cells. So it is to be very clear, it is mandatory that no neighboring cells situated very close to each other should share the same channel. It should not be, it should not share the same channel. Okay, the channels that is being assigned to the neighboring cells should be different so as to reduce the interference. But it is evident that our spectrum is limited. We have the scarcity of channel, so it is our responsibility to allocate, not our, the MSC's responsibility to allocate the available number of channels to all the subscribers by increasing the capacity and reducing the interference. So we need to increase the channel capacity. Why we need to increase the channel capacity? To give the service to almost all the users available in the geographical area. Okay, the number of subscribers are going on increasing, but we can't say that you will not get the service later. We have to provide the service for all the subscribers. So for that, the channel capacity has to be increased, or channel reuse has to be adopted. Okay, so same channel, whatever it is being used by one user or one cell, it should be shared with another cell also. But while sharing, we have to take care that no adjacent cells are going to share the same channels. So suppose this particular channel, I'll show you. Suppose this particular channel is having a set of, this particular cell is having a set of channels. Okay, maybe these surrounding cells are not having identical channels. What happens if they are sharing the common channels? Since they are situating nearby to each other, there is high chance of co-channel interferences. Okay, so whenever the two cells are closely situated to one another, communication design engineers should take care of this channel assignment strategy in such a way that there should not be any sharing between two neighboring cells. Okay, so if we have assigned as group of channels to this particular cell, we should ensure that the same set of channels are allocated to different cells which are situated in a much larger distance. Geographically, it should be very far apart from each other so that there is a minimum interference. Okay, but somehow we have to share the channel, then only we will be able to increase the capacity of the entire system. So this is what is basically the cellular architecture. Any doubt regarding this? I'll speak about this channel reuse or channel sharing strategies later in a elaborate manner. Okay, as of now, this is enough. Any doubt with respect to this architecture? Now going to the next slide. Is it audible for you now? Is it audible?
Yes, sir.
Good. Now, Basically, a cellular telephony system is made up of three different entities. So these three combination of these three entities will constitute the entire cellular telephony system. So what are the three entities? One is the mobile users or the handsets. Okay, mobile users, which are very complex circuitry to design. Second one is a base station. What is the function of the base station? Base station is nothing but high power transmitter or receiver antenna that is being mounted over a tower, isn't it? So it is responsible to forward the message between the two mobile users. Okay, so it will be situated normally at the center of each geographical cell, which are generally hexagonal shape. Not necessary that always a cell should be in hexagonal in structure. It can be circular or triangular, rectangular, any manner it can be, but the most efficient way of dividing the entire cellular system is in hexagonal manner, because it consumes less spacing in between. It means all the intermediate spacing are easily accommodated. See, suppose imaginary, if you're taking circles, if you're dividing the geographical area in terms of circular cells, what will happen? In between there will be void spaces, isn't it? So in that spaces we will not be able to accommodate any channels. So the most efficient way of utilizing the entire spectrum is using hexagonal pattern as a cellular structure. Then the third entity is the MSC or Mobile Switching Center, which is responsible to connect the cellular system to the terrestrial network. I mean, terrestrial telephone network, that is nothing but your PSTN. So MSC is responsible for establishing the connection between the base stations as well as these base stations to the terrestrial telephone network or the PSTN network. Understood? So these three entities together, it forms the cellular telephony system. Okay. Now, this is the timing diagram, which is explaining the procedure of establishing a call between the two mobile subscribers, or it can be a conversation between the mobile and PSP. So this we are explaining in two different cases. So in the first case, we will discuss how the call is being established between the mobile and PSTN network, where the call is being initiated by PSTN, means landline subscriber. Okay. So the call will be first initiated by the PSTN, and the called subscriber is nothing but the mobile user. You know the difference between calling and called subscriber? Calling subscriber is the one who initiates the call. The called subscriber is the destination user. Okay. So here, as you can see the heading, here we have discussed about how to establish a call between a mobile user and the PSTN user such that the call is being initiated by the PSTN. Okay, please remember where the call is being initiated. Call is initiated by the PSTN, means from the land phone, the user is calling the mobile, another mobile. So before explaining this particular timing diagram, you should know about these abbreviations: FCC, RCC, FVC, and RVC. I told you in the previous class about the channels. How many number of channels are there? What are the different kinds of channels? Today in the morning class, we have discussed about different types of channels. What are those channels? Anybody?
Reverse channel, forward channel, and control
Forward channel, control channel.
Very good, very good. Reverse channel, forward channel, and control channel. And you should know the functions of these channels as well. Forward channel is nothing but a channel which is used to transfer the information from the base station to the mobile. Reverse channel is a channel which is used to establish the conversation or pass the data from mobile station to the base station. Okay. Basically, these can be voice calls as well as voice channels as well as control channels. Control channels is to establish the control signals. That is, before establishing the actual voice conversation, we need to pass certain control signals between the base station and the mobile user, so that after accepting those control signals, only the voice conversation can be set up. Okay. So we need to access both the control channels and voice channels in forward manner as well as reverse manner. And what kind of multiplexing we are used? Is it TDD or FDD? Is it time division duplex or frequency division duplex in the modern cellular communication systems? What kind of duplex we are using? Which one you will prefer? TDD or FDD? I told you in the last class. It should be FDD, frequency division duplex. Why you are preferring frequency division duplex? Because both the forward channel and reverse channel can be accessed at the same point of time, but with the different frequencies. Okay. So what is the advantage of using same at the same time? Because you can establish a duplex connection simultaneously. You can communicate in both ways. So it will reduce the time delay of the conversation, or the entire communications time delay can be reduced. Of course, we have to compensate in terms of spectrum or the channel assignment strategies, but still we are able to establish the communication with a less time delay, okay, without any interference. How without any interference? Because both the forward and reverse channel are making use of different frequency bandwidth. Okay, now we will go for the procedure to establish a call initiated by the PSTN towards the mobile. So what is the first time slot? Focus on this time slot. The first step here we have mentioned is receives call from PSTN. Who is receiving the call? MSC. So first is MSC. He will receive a call from PSTN. The sender sends the request MIN to all base stations. Okay. The requested MIN is nothing but mobile identification number. So what MSC will do upon receiving a call from PSTN, because PSTN is initiating the call, right? Since PSTN is initiating the call, MSC will receive that call, okay? And based upon that call, he will be able to receive the mobile identification number, and this MIN number he is sending to all the available base stations under his MSC. Okay, because under one MSC you will have n number of base stations. So this MSC will send that particular MIN. MIN is nothing but mobile identification number to all the available base station. Okay. Now coming to the second time slot, this thing transmits page. Page is nothing but MIN. I told you what do you mean by page. Page is nothing but a brief information, whatever we are transmitting. Okay. So here this MIN transmits MIN for specified user base station. So base station will receive the MIN from the MSC, and it will pass the same MIN to the relevant user. User means mobile. So now this MIN will come from the PSTN through the base station towards this mobile. So that mobile user will check this MIN, and he acknowledges the receipt of MIN and sends. He receives the page and matches the MIN with its own MIN. Okay, what is it doing? First step is the PSTN will initiate the call. He will send some sort of MIN to this MSC. The MSC will check that MIN and it will forward to the corresponding base station. Base station will identify the user, and he will send that MIN to the respective mobile user. The mobile user will cross verify his own MIN with the MIN whatever it has been sent by the base station. If it matches, means it is confirmed that that particular call is intended to that particular mobile user. Clear? These two time slots, is it clear for you? Any doubts? The first two time slots. Now coming to the third time slot. So once this mobile user has verified, mobile user has checked his MIN number, he has verified it, then what he will do is he will acknowledges the receipt of MIN, and it will send the ESN number and station class mark to the base station. Okay, after this you have to go to this particular stage. Okay. So after verifying the MIN number, what mobile will do? Mobile user will send the acknowledgement regarding the receipt of this MIN number. Along that, he will send another identification number, that is on a station class mark, to the RCC, I mean to the base station. Okay. Now, upon receiving this MIN by the base station, so receives MIN then station class mark, and passes to the MSC. So through what channel he will pass this? Through RCC. Okay, reverse control channel. Initially it was done with the forward control channel. Now reception is being done by reverse control channel. You know the difference between RCC and FCC? RCC is nothing but the channel where he will make use of getting the information from mobile to base station. So from mobile to base station, what mobile user has sent? Mobile user has sent a acknowledgement for the receipt of this MIN by using some another code. So that code is being received by the base station through RCC, that is reverse control channel, and then he will pass this to the MSC. Now coming to the next time slot, MSC will verify that the mobile has a valid MIN. Okay, because he has initiated through the PSTN network, MSC has initiated everything, and ultimately after verification, MSC got a new, the acknowledgement from the mobile user. So ultimately MSC would be able to verify that the mobile has a valid MIN number or ESN number. Then after this verification, next thing is he will request the base station to move the mobile to unused voice channel pair. Means he will insist the base station to allocate the channels to the user, to the mobile user. Okay. After allocating the voice channels, then only this mobile user will be able to start the conversation. So till now we are making use of which channels? Which channels? Only control channels. We have not touched the voice channels at all. Once after verification, once after getting the acknowledgement from the mobile user to the base station will forward the same acknowledgement to the MSC, so that MSC will be able to verify the validity of this MIN. Okay, the authenticity of that MIN. Then he will request the base station to allocate the free channels at that particular point of time. Whatever channels that particular base station has, he will check the availability of those channels when whatever is free, and those available free channels will be allocated to the requested user. Clear? Now we will go to again FCC, and through FCC what this base station will do, he will transmit the data message for mobile to move to specific voice channel. Means he is allocating the channel through FCC. Again we are making use of FCC, not FVC. We are not using voice channel, we are using control channel. So again by making use of this forward control channel, the base station will intimate the mobile user to take up the specified channel. So that channel identification number will be sent to the mobile, so that the mobile will be automatically allocated to the specified channel. Through that channel, what it will do, this mobile will receives the data message to move to specified voice channel. So it got an intimation from where? From the base station to move to a specified channel. So he will move to that specified channel. Now voice conversation will start. So from this point of time, we will make use of which channel? Voice channel. So we'll come to here and we will make use of the voice channel, forward voice channel, to begin the voice conversation. Okay, so using the forward voice channel, the base station will send the data or the voice, whatever he has received through the PSTN network. So that is ultimately sent to the mobile users through FVC, forward voice channel. By making use of the reverse voice channel, mobile user will reply back. So this is happening in dual mode by making use of different channels. And advantage of making use of these different channels is that time delay can be reduced and different frequencies allotted for both the reverse channel and forward channel, so that interference can be minimized. Any doubts with the procedure? So this is a way of establishing a conversation between the PSTN and mobile, cellular system. Actually, the call is being initiated by the PSTN or the landline subscriber. So always we need a PSTN network to be established along with the cellular system. Any doubts? Can I move to the next subcase? Or should I explain this once more? Vidya, Vidya B, Vidyashri, Varun. Should I explain this once more? Okay, I'm moving to the next slide. So in the next case, we are going to explain the procedure of establishing a call which is initiated by the cellular system itself. As of now, we have discussed a call which is being initiated by the PSTN network, and now we are going to tell about the procedure of establishing a call that is being initiated by the mobile user itself. So here there is no point of mentioning PSTN network here, even though the PSTN network will have a connection between that MSC, but the PSTN network will not come into the picture. It will not have any control channel or voice channel connected to the MSC. Not active voice channel. Channel will be there, but no active channels will be connected to the MSC. Okay, so now here the call is being initiated by the mobile. So from where should I start? Initiation by mobile means from here. Okay, so it sends a mobile. What is the first step? Mobile will send a call initiation request along with the subscriber MIN. Subscriber MIN means to which subscriber he has to send the call. So the destination mobile identification number will be sent along with the request to the base station. Through which channel? Is it through forward or reverse? You have to respond. Through which channel he will?
Reverse.
Through
Reverse.
reverse channel, yes, because reverse channel is the channel that establish the communication from mobile station to base station. So by making use of reverse control channel, because as of now we are requesting to establish a connection, we are not sending the actual voice message, we are requesting the base station to allocate a voice channel between the two subscribers. Okay, so in that request, what he will send, the mobile user, whoever is initiating the call, he will send a request. Along with that request, he will send the subscribers MIN number also, means destinations MIN number also. So that MIN number is getting received at the base station through RCC. Okay, after reception, what he will do is he will send this to MSC. So coming to the next slot. So this MSC will get notified about the call initiation request from the base station. So base station, it has forwarded as such that to MSC. So MSC will now came to know that a particular base station has, sorry, a particular mobile user has requested a particular base station for initiating a call. So what he will do, he will check the MIN number of the destination. Okay, and what he will do is after checking or verifying that mobile identification number, he will instruct the FCC of originating base station to move mobile to a pair of voice channel. Okay, once after verification, he will request the base station to allocate a voice channel to the user. So that request is being sent to the base station. So the base station will receive the confirmation from the MSC, so that what he will do, page for called mobile, instructing the mobile to move to the voice channel. Okay, so a set of voice channel will be allocated to the called mobile. Okay, so he will instruct the called, not calling mobile, he will instruct the called subscriber to move to the respective voice channel. Then receives the page whoever is initiating the call, that is what's mentioned here. Whoever is initiating the call, that is what's mobile. So this mobile will receive the page and matches the page means that information and matches the MIN with its own MIN and receives instruction to move to the voice channel. So the mobile whoever has initiated the call and the called subscriber both will get instruction from the MSC to move to a specific voice channel. Now, after this, it connects the mobile with the called party on the PSTN. This is optional. Okay. So once the control channel is being established, next is to begin the voice transmission. So as of now, we have used only the forward and reverse control channel. This is being used by forward control channel because base station is sending information to mobile. So that has been done through forward. All the requests from the mobile to base station that will be handled by reverse channel. So this RCC and FCC already we have done. Now we have established a voice. I mean, we have authorized a voice channel to a specific user or to two mobile users so that they can start the communication by making use of voice channels. So first, by making use of the forward voice channel, the base station will send the voice information to the mobile user and the mobile user can respond back. So now we will make use of FPC and RVC of both the mobile users and with the help of base station, we can establish the voice conversation. So this was the timing diagram that explains the initiation and the procedure of call between two mobile users. Yeah. Now, so this graph shows the growth of subscribers. You can see in 2001, there are about 781 million subscribers for a cellular system. And now it has gone to triple and 4 times whatever we have observed in early 20s. Okay. So with the growth of the subscribers, we have the scarcity of the channel and frequency spectrum as I told you. So we need to share the available channels to the entire number of subscribers. So to achieve service or to offer service to all the available subscribers, we have to make use of channel reusing concept or frequency reusing concept. Means we are assigning same set of channels to different cells, but those cells should not lie close to each other. Okay, what is happening if we are assigning the same channel to two neighboring cells? There will be overlapping or interference will occur. So that will reduce the quality of our communication. So we have to maintain the quality of the communication. At the same time, we have to increase the channel capacity, means we have to accommodate all the users or we have to offer service, uninterrupted service for all the users. For that, we have to share the channel by following some topologies or algorithm. So there will be some well-defined algorithm to be followed so that the execution of that particular algorithm will result in careful assignment of channels. So that is what is known as channel assignment strategies. So we need to follow those channel assignment strategy such a way that the available number of channels can be shared among multiple users or multiple cells without interference. Okay, without interference, we have the capability to increase the capacity of the entire system. Now, you have different cellular network generation, so that is left to you. Okay, first generation, second generation, 2.5, third, fourth, and now we are at the starting of 5G, which is not yet implemented in our India. Okay, so all this you can go through. What are the features of first generation, 2G, 3G, 4G, and according to this generation, we are supposed to follow the technology of our user handheld devices also, because it should support the network generation systems. Okay, devices which are supporting for the first generation may not be supporting for second generation, because the entire features of accessing or multi-accessing techniques, everything has changed. Data rate, energy efficiency, okay, everything has changed. So according to that, for satisfying those features, we need to upgrade the mobile handheld devices also. So this you can go through the features of all the generation networks. And now moving to the cellular concept. So from this, actually the module start. So till now we have discussed the I mean the introduction part of this particular subject, wireless and mobile communication. So you got a idea about the subject or the concept behind the channel assignment, or the concept behind the mobile station, the architecture, the PCS service, what is paging system, what is PSTN network, what is cellular network, and you would have got some ideas about the terminologies like base station, mobile station, reverse channel, forward channel, control channel, everything. Okay. Now from this, we will discuss about the cellular concept and frequency reuse. What do you mean by cellular system? Actually, the cellular system is nothing but an idea of dividing the entire available geographical region into small cells, where each cell will contain a high power transmitting antenna that is implemented over a tower, which is surrounded by a number of subscribers. Okay. So the main idea behind the cellular system is to increase the capacity in spite of available limited spectrum. We are having a limited spectrum. So in spite of the available limited spectrum, we are trying to offer universal connectivity to all the available subscribers by offering the high capacity. Just read the third bullet. High capacity is achieved by limiting the coverage area, but to optimize one parameter, engineers are forced to compromise in another parameter. So that is nothing but your coverage area. So we need to reduce or we are forced to reduce the coverage area. So what will happen if coverage area is less? With the available transmitting antenna that is mounted over the tower, we will not be able to provide service to few mobile users beyond that particular coverage area. For that, we are forced to install base stations frequently in the available geographical area. Okay, so there will be more cells in available geographical area to get more coverage area, because we need the service. All the users need the service at any point of time in spite of any location where he is, because the users are mobile in nature, the users are having dynamic behavior. Again, it depends upon the mobility of the user, means the speed of the vehicle where the mobile is being present. Okay, so to tackle all these problems, we have divided the entire geographical area into small cells, where each cell will have a separate base station, which is most probably it will be in the center of that particular cell. So that will be low power transmitters. Why we are not going for high power transmitters? Because we have more number of cells. Why we have more number of cells? Because we are sharing the channels in a broad way. Since subscribers have increased, we are forced to sharing the channel among all the available subscribers. So we are forced to increase the number of cells. Increasing the number of cells means we have to increase the number of base stations as well. But those base stations will have a low power transmitter antennas instead of mounting a high power transmitter